Alright, so now y'all believe me? I've been literally saying this for 5 years. I'm about to break it down for you.
Gucci Mane got robbed at gunpoint by his own artist and named every suspect to the feds. 6ix9ine walked out of prison days later and turned it into a 5-year victory lap, mocking him for it every single day since.
Give me everything. I want everything. Take this out your ears.
Gucci is now firing back, and what he says leaves 6ix9ine with nothing. Let me break it down. 6ix9ine goes off the Adin Ross stream and the Instagram rants. When 6ix9ine got out of jail in early April 2026, the federal arrests of Pooh Shai and 8 co-conspirators had dropped 2 days earlier. The Diddy press conference was everywhere. The details were saturating every timeline. K-style pistols, a Draco, a forced contract signing, stolen Rolexes, 9 men from Memphis descending on a Dallas recording studio. 6ix9ine had been locked up through all of it. Now he was out, and the moment was exactly what he had been predicting for 5 years. The first thing he did on Instagram was mock the robbery itself. He replayed what Gucci's whole night allegedly looked like through clips, rants, and audio because the irony of it all was too clean to ignore. He played back what went down in that studio item by item.
Give me everything. I want everything. Take this out your ears.
That line was 6ix9ine, recreating the robbery frame by frame, dramatizing what allegedly happened to Gucci Mane the night his own artist held a Draco to his head. He didn't stop there.
Give me this. Oh, this your wedding ring? Let me get that shit. They pulled up on street!
This was the core of his argument that what happened to Gucci was street. The same kind of outcome that hip-hop had told him to accept when the 9 Trey Gangster Bloods came for him in 2018. On April 6th, he joined Adin Ross' Kick livestream and spent a significant portion of it breaking down the federal case with the energy of a man who had rehearsed this argument in his head for half a decade. He had rapped along to Pooh's Shisty songs earlier in the stream. Then he pivoted and delivered what amounted to a live federal law lecture aimed directly at hip-hop. He explained how the Department of Justice operates, how a federal case is not a state charge, how when the U.S. Marshals come for you, it is the United States of America versus your name, how the federal conviction rate sits at approximately 98% precisely because the DOJ does not take cases. It hasn't already built closed. He cited El Chapo. He cited his own 2018 9 Trey Gangster Bloods racketeering case. Then he got to Gucci. Gucci Mane will get subpoenaed. He will have to testify, and if he denies it, he has to do time. You have to. That's a subpoena by the federal government. He explained that even if Gucci wanted to stay quiet, a subpoena removes that option entirely. Refusing a federal subpoena is obstruction of justice. He noted that Pooh Shisty, even if he somehow beat the kidnapping charges, would still face a federal violation for coming into contact with police while on home confinement. His prior firearms conviction from the Southern District of Florida had placed him on federal supervision. He predicted a minimum of 0 to 5 years on that violation alone. Then he landed what became the defining observation of the entire saga.
Whether it's Gucci Mane or listen, I've learned that everybody who's talking about me has an opinion till they're in your situation.
And with a laugh that carried 5 years of weight behind it.
What's the name of that song?
Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry. Laugh now, cry later.
So who's laughing now and crying later?
When Gucci dropped Crash Dummy on April 10th, 6ix9ine went to Instagram immediately. He pulled up Gucci's 2018 posts. Tweet, "Good morning, Rule 1, never snitch," and placed them alongside the new track's lyrics. He posted a video throwing stacks of cash at a photo of Gucci Mane and captioned it, "Why you always got to say something? I am the only person that can speak on this every time. Y'all blackled me and tried to take food from my family's mouth when y'all knew all the facts. For 5 years I exposed the rap game, but because I'm not black I get a different treatment." Suck my in the accompanying rant. He returned to what he had been saying since the moment he walked out of federal court in 2019.
Alright, so now y'all believe me? I've been literally saying this for 5 years. I'm about to break it down for you.
He played clips of Gucci's old anti-niche statements, then cut directly to his point. What is the difference?
Now you're a businessman? How many excuses? How many times? No, it's different. No, you know what's the difference? Look at this.
His answer followed immediately.
All these things that top is saying for 5 years.
What is critical to understand about 6ix9ine's campaign is what it is and what it is not. There is no deep, long-standing personal rivalry between Gucci Mane and 6ix9ine. Their interaction history is sparse. In 2021, 6ix9ine trolled Gucci when Pushy was denied bond in a separate Miami shooting case. Gucci never responded. In 2022, while 6ix9ine was locked up for a probation violation, Gucci posted encouragement, telling him to hold his head. For 6ix9ine, Gucci Mane is not the target. He is the symbol, the proof that the no-snitch code in rap was always selectively applied, always enforced by vibes rather than facts, and always had a limit that nobody wanted to admit publicly. This is a 5-year argument being proven right in real time, but to understand why the whole thing cracked open the way it did, you have to go back to the beginning, to the timeline that put 6ix9ine in this position and handed him everything he needed. Timeline: the events that handed 6ix9ine his moment. On January 10, 2026, Gucci Mane, born Radic Dantic Davis, CEO of 1017 Records, flew into Dallas, Texas for what he believed was a scheduled business meeting with his artist Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty, born Lantrell Donnell Williams Jr., had been signed to Gucci's 1017 Records since approximately 2020. He was Gucci's flagship artist. His record Back in Blood with Lil Durk had made him one of the label's defining names. By late 2024, Gucci had dropped most of the 1017 roster, keeping only Pooh Shiesty and Fujiano. Before we get to what happened in that Dallas studio, it's necessary to understand what Gucci Mane represented as a figure and why the events of January 10th felt to so many people like a rupture in the identity he had spent 2 decades building. Because the Gucci Mane that flew into Dallas was not a man who had ever been associated with cooperation. He was known for the opposite, and he had said so explicitly in the direction of 6ix9ine specifically.
I ain't dropped my location. I ain't gotta relocate, cause my car here. I ain't snitched on nobody.
That was a direct shot at 6ix9ine, who had been forced to relocate after his cooperation made him a target. Gucci followed it. He was not subtle. He was not equivocal. He was a man who had done federal time, come out the other side, and positioned himself as the anti-niche archetype of the trap era. And when 6ix9ine's case came up in conversation, Gucci gave his thoughts on the broader culture of federal cooperation from a place of genuine experience. That was Gucci Mane, the man who flew into Dallas on January 10, 2026, talking about snitching, not surprised, not flabbergasted, calling it typical, positioning himself as someone who understood the game well enough that none of it shocked him. What happened instead was a federal crime. According to the 32-page FBI criminal complaint filed March 30, 2026, Shiesty and 8 co-conspirators, including his father, Lantrell Williams Sr. and rapper Big 30 Rodney Wright Jr., executed a coordinated armed takeover of a Dallas recording studio. Shiesty produced an AK-style pistol and forced Gucci Mane to sign contract release papers at gunpoint. Big 30 filmed the signing on a cell phone. Williams Sr. insisted the document be dated. The rest of the crew robbed victims in the control room: Rolexes, cash, jewelry, a Louis Vuitton bag. One victim was choked near unconscious. That same night, Gucci Mane and his associates gave statements to the Dallas Police Department identifying suspects by name, clothing, and Instagram handle. The FBI spent the next 3 months building its case: cell phone records, surveillance footage, rental car data, ankle monitor data, placing Shiesty at the studio in violation of home confinement, fingerprints on red Solo cups, and Apple AirTags tracking stolen jewelry to suspects' locations in Plano and Frisco. Defendants' own social media posts showed stolen Rolexes and the 1017 necklace within hours of the robbery. On April 1, 2026, 8 of the 9 defendants were arrested across Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. U.S. Attorney Ryan Raybould described it as a coordinated armed takeover rather than a civil business dispute. On April 8, Pooh Shiesty was denied bond and ordered held without bail, the judge citing the strength of evidence, flight risk, and his prior home confinement violation. On April 6, between the arrests and the bond denial, 6ix9ine joined Adam's stream. By April 10, Gucci had dropped Crash Dummy. The backlash came immediately. Freddie Gibbs, Boozy Badass, Asian Doll, Finesse 2 times, and 6ix9ine doubled down on Instagram, throwing cash at Gucci's photo, posting side-by-side comparisons of old Never Snitch posts against the new lyrics. Gucci Mane has not responded to 6ix9ine by name. Now you have the timeline, but the timeline only tells you the sequence. What happened inside that studio, the minute-by-minute account that the FBI affidavit reconstructed from surveillance, cell data, and victim statements is a different story entirely. Inside the studio, what happened on January 10, 2026, before the details of what happened inside Luminous Studios that afternoon, there is one thing worth understanding about who Gucci Mane was in that room. Charlemagne the God, who had met Gucci as far back as 2004 and interviewed him years later, offered a description that is held up across the entire arc of Gucci's career.
Gucci Mane is the boogeyman of hip-hop. He is the boogeyman. And instead of boo, he says brr. And when he says brr, everybody jumps.
So this is before the ice cream cone tattoo.
That is the man who walked into a Dallas recording studio on January 10, 2026, thinking he was going to a business meeting. The man who survived shootings, murder charges, addiction, and federal prison and came out of all of it with a 1017 empire and an ice cream cone tattoo on his face. A man who by every historical account was not someone to bring drama to. And yet, January 10, 2026, Dallas Parkway, a recording studio identified in reporting as Luminous Studios, operated by a man referred to in court documents as J.N. Gucci's group. Him. 2 business associates identified in the complaint as MM and BP, and 2 security guards, CW and TD, former Detroit police officers, flew in from out of state. They arrived around 1:45 p.m., found the studio closed, went to a nearby liquor store and returned. Red Solo cups, football on the screen, nothing out of order on the surface. At approximately 2:53 p.m., Pooh Shiesty's father, Lantrell Williams Sr., placed multiple calls to the studio owner to book the space, framing it as Gucci Mane and Williams Jr. coming to record music. By 3:15 p.m., the studio was open. By 3:43 p.m., all 9 suspects had entered via the east side of the building. What Gucci had walked into was a setup, and the diss track he later dropped confirmed it exactly. Shiesty pulled Gucci aside into a private recording room. Williams Sr. and Big 30 came with them. In the recording room, Shiesty produced pre-prepared contract termination paperwork and demanded Gucci sign it. Gucci refused. The argument escalated. Shiesty told Big 30 to get his bag. Big 30 returned with a black AK-style pistol described in reporting as a Draco. Shuri pressed it to Gucci's head. Gucci signed. Big 30 filmed the signing and compelled Gucci to verbally state on camera that he was releasing Shiesty from the contract. Williams Sr. demanded the document be dated. Gucci added the date, gun still on him. Shiesty took Gucci's wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash. In the control room, BP was pushed onto a couch, his wallet and chain stolen. Daniel threatened to shoot him. Shiesty intervened but kept his weapon drawn. Them was choked from behind by Glover until nearly unconscious. Photos of MM's neck and wrist injuries were filed with the criminal complaint. His Rolex, a Louis Vuitton bag containing multiple watches, AirPods, and wallet all taken. Inside that bag were Apple AirTags. Big 30 barricaded the lobby door with his body. Security guards CW and TD tried to push through, saw the numbers and the hardware, and pulled back. Gucci told his own security were outgunned. At approximately 4:48 p.m., the 9 suspects fled in 3 vehicles. A white Buick Enclave rented by Williams Sr., a black Dodge Charger Hellcat, and a black Dodge Ram with a roller. The air tags tracked stolen items to areas near Plano and Frisco, Texas. The song Gucci dropped 3 months later captured the emotional weight of that moment with a precision that needed no explanation.
They smile in your face, then they stab you in your back. So here he's saying, hey, we're supposed to have this business meeting. Instead, you...
Big Meech asked to weigh in on the situation was measured, but drew the line exactly where the street code draws it.
But at the same time, the robbery part was wrong. Whether he had something to do with it or not, whether his men just acted on impulse, that was the wrong part about the situation.
The defense's position at the April 8th detention hearing: no recovered contract, no video of the forced signing, no firearms, no jewelry. Bradford Cohen called the contract a mystery and questioned the 3-month gap between incident and arrest. The FBI doesn't take 3 months to arrest someone if they believe everything that was said on the night that it occurred, he said outside the courthouse. The judge denied bond regardless. Here is where the story deepens. Because the question the streets immediately raised was not whether Shiesty did it. It was why he felt justified doing it. What accumulation of tension would drive a man who was once Gucci's most valuable artist to pull up with 9 people and a loaded Draco? The answer is a contract dispute that was never resolved through legitimate means, and understanding that dispute is the only way to understand the motive. Contract dispute: why Pui did what he did. The FBI criminal complaint states plainly that Pooh Shiesty was upset with the terms of his contract and wished to be released from his contractual obligations. That single line is the only officially confirmed reason for what happened at Luminous Studios. Behind it is years of mounting strain between an artist who built his name while incarcerated and a label deal the streets described as airtight in 1017's favor. Shiesty signed with Gucci's 1017 Records in approximately 2020 on a joint venture deal with Atlantic Records. Back in Blood with Lil Durk gave him a genuine cultural moment. His trajectory was building before the federal firearms conspiracy charge from the Southern District of Florida put him behind bars from 2022 through late 2025. While he was inside, his catalog kept streaming, his name kept selling, his momentum kept compounding, and he had no control over any of it. When he came home, he returned to a deal he reportedly viewed as suffocating. Industry speculation, never confirmed in court, suggested Schiesti had interest from another major label, but could not pursue it while still under contract to 1017. Gucci reportedly was not inclined to release him. No buyout, no arbitration. Commentary breaking down Gucci's own diss track addressed this directly, what Gucci believed he had given Shuri and what the betrayal meant.
None of this money that you got and stuff would ever be happening. And to a certain extent, you know, Pooh Shiesty doesn't respect that. So I don't know what the label contract is, if it's really that bad.
There was also a personal wound beneath the business tension. Big Scar, Pooh Shiesty's cousin and a 1017 artist, had died in December 2022. Schiesti allegedly pushed from jail for Gucci to contribute toward the funeral. According to widely circulated commentary, Gucci initially resisted before eventually contributing, a delay that Schiesti took as a personal slight. Big Scar's own father confirmed something had fractured. Gucci did what he did. 100 is 100. I just want what rightfully belonged to my son. Schiesti came home carrying all of it. He requested the business meeting. Gucci showed up thinking it was a legitimate conversation. Schiesti arrived with 9 men, 3 rental vehicles, pre-printed release paperwork, and a plan that had no viable legal outcome because any signature obtained at gunpoint is voidable under contract law by duress and coercion. Gucci's diss track made the historical parallel explicit.
He says, I'm that same guy that put money in your commissary. A guy set up to play like Suge Knight did with Dre, but I ain't Eazy-E, and this ain't back in the day.
The Suge Knight reference is precise. In the early 1990s, Suge Knight allegedly used physical intimidation to pressure Eazy-E into releasing Dr. Dre from Ruthless Records. Became one of hip-hop's most notorious power grab stories. Shy allegedly tried the same play, but the era is different.
And there were rumors that Suge Knight, basically took the Pooh Shiesty approach. But that was in the 90s. We're in 2026 where there's cameras everywhere. It's a dumb route to take in today's time.
Gucci's track stated the legal position directly. The release papers he signed meant nothing.
Pressure on my chest, but I still ain't pressed. Pen to the paper, but it's under duress. So here he's going the lawyer talk.
And the commentary that followed unpacked the legal reality.
He's saying, listen, I might have signed the documents to get you released, but it's under duress, so it doesn't count.
Gucci is still CEO. Shyest is still signed to 1017. The robbery produced a legally void document and 9 federal kidnapping charges carrying potential life sentences. Shy's attorney, John Helms, attempted to reframe the narrative after the arrest. The government tries to characterize this as a dispute over money between Lantrell and his record label. But in this business, things are very often not what they seem. We will be presenting Lantrell's side of the case as the case goes on, and I think it's going to be significantly different from what the government says. The legal battlefield is still forming, but the cultural verdict came in immediately, and it landed largely on Gucci, not because anyone was celebrating the kidnapping, but because of what Gucci said and did in the aftermath. The fallout, crash dummy, the industry's verdict, and what it all means. Gucci Mane's answer to all of it, the kidnapping, the federal case, the 6ix9ine trolling, the online mob, the streets calling his name in a way he was never supposed to be called, was a 3-minute record. He teased it on Instagram on April 9th. He dropped it at midnight on April 10th, 2026, exactly 3 months after the incident at Luminous Studios. He called it Crash Dummy, produced by Zovan, the same producer who built the sonic backbone of Gucci's defining early era. Bouncy piano keys, sparse 808s, the unmistakable fingerprint of East Atlanta trap at its origin point. Track opens with its central taunt, a taunt that doubles as a legal assertion.
You went out like a real crash dummy. And after all that, boy, you still signed to me. I'm like Birdman, and yeah, this is my cash money.
The Birdman reference is pointed. A label boss who held on to his artist even through years of public war and courtroom chaos. Gucci is the CEO. The man who put a gun to his head to escape the label is still on the roster. Forced release is legally void. The robbery accomplished nothing except delivering 9 people into federal custody facing potential life sentences.
And then he says, I got my bread up. I always keep my head up. I thought it was a business meeting, but it was a setup.
He describes the studio scene with a specificity that maps directly to the FBI criminal complaint.
I walk in the room, you can feel the pressure building. Guy dapped me up the whole time they plotting against me. So here he's talking about, obviously, the incident that happened with the robbery.
He takes shots at Big 30. Your fat ass flunky. He is stone cold junkie. He cuts at Sher's father. They smile in your face, then they stab you in your back. You learn from your daddy, so I guess that it's hereditary. Track closes on betrayal as its central theme.
And then the chorus says, I done been betrayed, now my heart turned cold. My heart turned cold, my heart turned cold. You know, so that's basically the hook.
And on the legal weight of what he signed.
It doesn't count, because that's not somebody like doing it because they want to do it. That's doing it because their life might be in danger. Then he continues, says, read between the lines.
Hip-hop's reaction was instant, and in the dominant current, it went against Gucci. Freddie Gibbs was first and a snitched on a Zovan beat. That's crazy. Uzi Badass was more visceral on stream, getting robbed by your artist, making a police report, then dissing the Neo for robbing you. This is crazy. Finesse 2 times delivered one of the harshest takes. I know why she robbed you if he did, cause he ain't think you were going to tell on him, fool. He thought you was street like I did. Asian Doll posted Free Pooh Shy and Big 30 are Snitch K and went directly at Gucci. Waka Flocka distanced himself on site, man. Y'all out your mind if you think I'm a celebrate situation. None of my business carrying Rick Ross was measured. Goop most definitely didn't deserve that. But this is where Ninja has got to be educated and understand in business you got to negotiate. You can't muscle your way. And then there was Big Meech asked directly.
I got a question. If Big Meech gets robbed and has to report it to the police and talk to the police about him being robbed,
his answer was unambiguous.
That make
do that.
You that
I wouldn't
that
ever talk to the police about that.
yeah, it is.
Gucci has not posted a word about 6ix9ine. He has not gone live. He has not issued a public statement addressing the backlash. His only response is the song. Now, here is the sharpest contradiction the whole situation lands, and it is one worth sitting with because there is no evidence in any court filing, DOJ statement, or FBI testimony that Gucci Mane is a confidential informant, a cooperating witness, or received any deal for his cooperation. He is the victim, referred to as RD in court documents. He reported a violent armed kidnapping the night it happened. That is legally categorically different from what 6ix9ine did in 2018, testifying as a co-defendant against criminal associates in exchange for a reduced sentence. But here is what makes the whole thing impossible to shake. In his own interview on the record unprompted, Gucci Mane once described what happened when federal prosecutors tried to flip him during his own prison time. Feds brought him into a room.
The feds asked me that, yes. And I told them, hey, listen, hey, man.
He then described his response to the federal offer.
I just went to sleep. And I guess if they seen I wasn't gonna tell about 6-7 hours, they had to come get me, hey, took me to jail. I didn't get out.
He went to sleep. That was his answer to federal prosecutors. He fell asleep in the room. That was the Gucci Mane who flew into Dallas on January 10, 2026. A man who had chosen jail over cooperation when the feds came for him personally, and who, when his own artist put a Draco to his head, ended up on the other side of that same equation. The real confrontation 6ix9ine is waging isn't with Gucci Mane personally. It is with the idea that rap street code ever applied equally to everyone. He said as much on Aiden Ross' stream without flinching. As soon as they put 5, 10, 15 year, 20 years to life on my head, I'm snitching on everybody. The difference between him and Gucci is not what they did. It is that he admitted it. The rest of hip-hop preached otherwise until they couldn't. Case remains in pretrial. No trial date has been set. All defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty. Pooh Shiesty remains in federal custody with no bond. Gucci Mane is still CEO of 1017 Records. Pooh Shiesty is still signed to it, and 6ix9ine will keep posting. If you're into this kind of content, the suggested cards on your screen have more waiting for you.